I'm Justin Mott, professional photographer, former TV show host on a reality show that you've probably never heard of called Photo Face Off on History Channel Asia. If you're new here, my channel is dedicated to all things photography from the perspective of a full-time working photographer. And if you're not new here, welcome back. And sorry you always have to listen to me say the same thing every single time. Today I'm going to talk about something that a lot of you guys struggle with out there, and I personally have struggled with it as well, and that is selling yourself. I'm going to give you some advice on how to sell yourself in person and how to sell yourself online. I know a lot of you out there are shy, a lot of you out there don't like to self-promote, so I'm gonna give you some advice on how to do it, because you have to do it if you want to run a photography business. As always, guys, don't forget to check out my online store at justinmott.com, where I've got presets that will not make you a better photographer, but they will add some pop to your images. Check out those Lightroom presets starting as low as $4.99. I've also got prints for sale, shipping worldwide. They make great artwork for your walls, great gifts for friends. They start as low as $99 with free shipping worldwide, and a lot of my archive is on there, so check that out. And for those of you interested in improving your photography, all levels, all genres, I've got my one-on-one sessions starting as low as $99 for a 1-hour session with you and me, where we can talk about your portfolio, look at your work, talk about your goals, and just overall help you with your photography. That's open to all of you out there, and you can book it all directly through my website, again, at justinmott.com. So over the course of my entire career, I've received a lot of praise and a lot of flack about the way I self-promote, the way I get my name out there. I have people talk behind my back, but I hear, because I hear everything, so no matter what you say, I'll find out. No, I hear people say it all the time. Oh, you know, that's why he works a lot. Oh, he does a lot of self-promotion. He's always putting his name out there. He's shameless, blah, 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 blah. Oh, he loves talking about that, narcissistic, all that kind of stuff. It's not that. A little secret, I don't love talking about myself. I mean, I don't mind talking to you guys here on YouTube, but I don't like constantly showing my work because I'm so proud of myself. I show my work, I put my work out there, one, because some of my work, it's advocacy work, but two, yeah, for my business, for me, I need to put the work out there, or else people don't know. I mean, you are your own business, you are your own marketing team, and you are selling you, essentially. So if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? Even if you don't love it, even if it doesn't come naturally to you, you have to do it. I mean, you don't have to do it if you don't want to work, but if you want to work and you want to create a sustainable business and you want to make income as a photographer, you're gonna have to sell yourself. You're gonna have to do it in person, you're gonna have to do it online. Now, what level and how often you do it, that's gonna be up to you. But today, I'm just gonna give you some basic advice on how to sell yourself better online and in person. The first tip I'm going to give you is to own it. Whether you're doing this in person or online, own it. Own what you do. Meaning, if you're a photographer, if you have one foot in, one foot out, like you do kind of some stuff, like you have a full-time job doing this, but you kind of do photography on the side, and then when you introduce yourself, you're like, well, yeah, I do that, and then sometimes I do wedding photography, or even people that within photography that do, like, you love to do street photography, you want to be known to do documentary photography, but little industry secret, not a lot of people out there paying you to do black and white documentary, and not a lot of people out there are going to pay you to do street photography. Yes, it's possible to make a living off it, but it's not easy. So if your main business is wedding photography, and even though you like street photography, even that's why you get started, if you're going to generate your income and make a living off of your wedding photography, own it. When you're putting your work online, own it. You are a wedding photographer. When you meet people, don't introduce yourself as, oh, documentary, and then I kind of do weddings on the side. No, that's going to sell. The wedding stuff's going to sell. So introduce yourself as a wedding photographer, or better yet, as an owner of a wedding photography business. If that's what you have, if that's what you're going to make your income off of, own it. No one wants to hire the person that's like one foot in, one foot out. I'd rather, just think about you. If you're going to hire a wedding photographer, do you want to hire the person that says, well, I do documentary work and you know, I do weddings when I have to, or, you know, I do weddings on the side, or you don't want to hire that person. And every person you meet is a potential sale. You just never know. Like, not necessarily that person directly, but they could refer you, or they're going to keep you in mind. Stop worrying about what sounds cool. You know what sounds cool is making a living. You know what sounds cool is your business not going under. You know what sounds cool is being able to save up and pay your bills and have a retirement fund. That sounds cool. I mean, it doesn't actually sound that cool, but you know what I mean. You get the drift. Like, whatever you do in your photography, own it and sell it. So if you're doing a wedding photography business, if you're doing advertising, you're doing studio photography, pet photography, portrait photography, whatever you're generating your income off of, sell yourself as that. Doesn't mean you can't talk about the other stuff as well, but don't make the other stuff a side note. Make what you generate your income off of your main thing. The next tip I'm going to give you is to network. Again, that not great, not easy for people that are shy, right? But you've got to network online and in person. So online, if you're an expat like me, you've got to join expat groups, join expat Facebook groups, join whatever that is, LinkedIn, things like that. Like, join those groups, be part of those groups. If you're a pet photographer, join a pet lovers group. If you do product photography, join a small business group. If you do sports, join a sports group. Join the relative groups related to what you want to get hired to do. And then also in person, you've got to go to events to network. People like to hire people that they've met in person. Even if the person you've talked to and met isn't like a direct sale, every person you meet could potentially refer you to someone else. That's how it happens, especially for expats like me. I used to go to bars and cafes. If bars aren't your thing, go to cafes. But there's all sorts of events, whether you're an expat or wherever you live. There's events, there's things out there. Go to those events and then do step one as well. Make sure that you're putting out your services. Again, it doesn't have to be so in your face. A lot of people are shy out there, but just have a conversation. It comes up. And when you do have a conversation, talk about what you do. Talk about it with passion. Talk about it with conviction. So networking online, networking in person is essential to your business. The next tip on how to sell yourself is don't wait for opportunities to happen. Create them. You don't have to be in people's face about it. Again, you don't have to go like door to door. You don't have to go to a cafe and just like go up to everyone and say, hey, I'm a photographer if you ever need my services, and pass out a pamphlet. But just keep an eye open. Keep an eye open for opportunities. Just the other day, I saw a message on Facebook, someone looking for a photographer for a wildlife conservation NGO, doing work with forensic science for wildlife crimes. And she was just looking for a photographer. I saw that opportunity, saw a bunch of people had responded. I sent her a private message and made it quick. I was to the point. I shared the relative work. Next thing you know, a few days later, did the shoot, got paid, done. I mean, that's creating an opportunity. That's, a lot of times you might see it and say, comment or, no, just get to the point. There are tons of opportunities out there, but you have to go out there. You have to be proactive. You have to get them. I can't tell you how many times I've met people at bars or at cafes or even on planes who've later hired me. And again, you don't have to be so in people's face about it, but just like a normal conversation. Like, I know I'm an extrovert in a lot of ways. Part of me is like an introvert. I'm whatever that combination is. Like, I can be very much an extrovert, and sometimes I can be an introvert, but when I'm an extrovert, I'm like full on. But you don't have to be. Just having a conversation, meeting people, getting to know people, whether you can do it quickly or even doing it slowly, just doing it. But you gotta get yourself out there, you gotta get your face out there, and you gotta talk about your work with conviction, you gotta talk about your work in a passionate way, you have to be intelligent about it well, but look for opportunity. I even had a friend that I didn't talk to in decades. We grew up together, but I didn't really even know him that well. He was a lot younger than me, lived a couple streets over from me, but he moved to Vietnam, worked for a giant shoe company, a giant international shoe company, and he just saw that he knew I lived in Vietnam because I posted about that on Facebook, but he also knew that I did video production and photography. And it just, he saw it for many years, but it didn't really click until he moved here, until he needed it. But the fact that I posted through the years and just kept that out there and just talk about what I do, again, you don't have to do it daily on Facebook, but just getting it out there. When he moved here, we didn't keep in touch at all, but he reached out because he's like, oh, let's catch up. But also, I need someone to do this work. And it was a fantastic job. And that led to tons of other works. And this is a giant multinational Fortune 500 company. So that's great. That's all just comes from me just posting stuff on Instagram, posting stuff on Facebook, reminding people where you're at and what you do. The next tip is to don't just share when you have something really big or really new or really exciting. You have to be consistent. You have to share consistently. If you're waiting for that once in a lifetime shot or that once in a lifetime story or that epic commercial job to share just because you only want to share the best of the best of the best, you'll wait forever because it's just a bad cycle. You're never going to do work because you're not getting work, because you're not sharing work, you're not marketing yourself, then you'll have nothing to share. So share the big, share the medium, share the small. It doesn't mean you have to share bad work, but just find a reason to share. Go back through your archive, go back through your work, and find a reason to get it out there. You might not think that assignment was so impressive, or you might think I don't want to be known for that, it's not as big as who I think I am. Forget it, just share. If you did a job, share it, because someone else, you might activate that part of their brain oh, that's cool. I didn't know he or she did that. I could use a photographer to do that. And I know Justin. I didn't know that he also does that. Great. Get that all the time. So yes, it's always nice to share the most impressive stuff. Yes, it's nice to always put your most impressive stuff up on your website, but on social media, just share. Find a reason to share. The next tip is to have a system. So when you have something new to post or something old to post, don't just throw it up out into the world and put it out there. Have a system. Have an ecosystem, as I like to call it. So for me, for example, say that assignment I talked about for that NGO, right? So I shot that work for that NGO. So I might share a behind the scenes thing about the NGO before I give them the final pictures. Then once they have the pictures, I might do a whole blog about that on my website. So that's good for SEO. That's good for content on my website. Then I might tease that blog on Instagram or Instagram stories. And then once it's up and live, then I'll link to it. So have a system of how everything works for you. If you use YouTube, if you use LinkedIn, whatever, have a system. So when you have content, figure out how it all relates to each other. The next tip I'm going to give you is trust the process. Don't be discouraged if in the beginning you post on Instagram for a week, you post on Instagram for a month, and you didn't get any sales, or you did a bunch of blogs and you didn't get a lot of traffic, or you did a YouTube channel about your work or a BTS video about your work and no one commented, no one liked it. All this stuff takes time. Don't get discouraged. Honestly, it really does take time. Getting your name out there, reminding people who you are, reminding them what you do, reminding them where you are, all that takes time. It takes months sometimes. I mean, I remember going to the New York Times, visiting with the editors there, talked about this before, but I thought, okay, she's not gonna remember who I am. 6 months later, she hired me. Then that turned into a bunch of other work. You never know when people are gonna remember. You never know when people are gonna need a photographer. The more you get out there, the more chances are that person's gonna remember you when they need a photographer. Just like I told you with my friend, that example. I mean, that turned into a huge, like I said, that turned into a huge job for me, and that's just getting your name out there. It's the same when I started my career out here as a photojournalist. Like, I really focused on just doing documentary work, really focused on doing assignment work, really focused on my career as a photojournalist. So every time I went to New York City, every time I posted, I was always repeating the same thing. Justin Mott, photojournalist, Vietnam. Justin Mott, photojournalist, Vietnam. Justin Mott, photojournalist, Vietnam. See, you're mesmerized by it right now. Whenever you think of that now, photojournalist, Vietnam. But you know what I mean? Like, whatever your message is, get it out there. Obviously, I'm exaggerating on how I want to do it, but I was putting it out there, and then people would remember, and it didn't work right away. It took months. It took months for people to remember, but then, okay, I've seen that guy post a lot about work that he did there. I've seen that guy post about this kind of product photography or his wedding work, whatever it is. And then when they need it, boom, you're the first name that comes to mind. The next tip I'm going to give you is to be you. Now, if you're a complete introvert and you don't ever want to share your work and want anyone to see it, then don't completely be you. But what I mean is be you, be your personality. If you're self-deprecating, if you're humble, let that personality shine through in your post. Don't let that stop you from posting. I know it's hard for a lot of you out there. I know some people are shy. I know some people don't like to be vulnerable in sharing their work and putting their work out there, but it's just part of the job. You can do it in your way. You don't have to do it the same way. If you turn off by the way someone else does it, some people turn off by the way I do it, posting every day, doing Instagram stories every day, Justin Mott, photojournalism, Vietnam, Justin Mott, you get turned off by that. I get it. You don't have to be that. Be your version, but make sure you get the message out. The next tip I'm going to give you is to block out all the noise. Fellow photographers, other friends, all that. When you do self-promotion, when you put yourself out there, a lot of you, that's made you sort of retract, right? You've gone like turtle. You've put yourself out there, you've been vulnerable, and someone was rude to you, or you heard someone talking about you, and you sort of went back into your shell, and then you stop. Forget it. Forget what other photographers say about you behind your back. I've heard people say that all the time. Oh, he promotes himself too much, blah, blah, blah. All the people that said that don't work nearly as much as me. I don't care about them. Yeah, it's tough not to, and it's tough not to be insulted by it sometimes. Sure, but at the end of the day, I want to make a living off of what I do. I want to get my message. I want to get the work that I've done out there. So if I'm doing my wildlife photojournalism work, I'm promoting it, not because of me, not because I'm in love with myself. I like to get my name out there because I want to get hired to do more of this stuff, but I want to get that message out there. So all that stuff, I block out all that noise. Whenever you share work, of course, people are going to comment, people are going to hate, but that's all about them. That has nothing to do with you. As soon as you can come to that realization, it won't bother you at all, or it'll bother you a little. Sometimes it bothers me a little, but really, for the most part, forget it. Don't let that stop you. Don't listen to any of that noise. Focus your energy on you. Focus your energy on your business. Get the word out there. So that's it for today, guys. Don't hide behind that saying. A lot of people I know that don't get work a lot, they always hide behind that. They always hide behind that statement of saying, I'm not like you. I don't like to self-promote. It's like a weird backhanded compliment, but don't hide behind that. You're gonna have to change. You can't be like a portrait photographer and say, I don't like to talk to people. I mean, yeah, of course, some people can actually pull that off, but for the most part, no, you're gonna have to talk to people. You can't be a pet photographer and say, I hate pets, I can't stand animals. You're gonna have to do it at some point. It's part of it. If you wanna get work, you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to put yourself out. Again, like I said, do it your way, have your own style, have your own voice, be you, but you're gonna have to put yourself out there both online and in person. I hope some of these tips helped. I understand a lot of you out there are shy. I understand a lot of you have had bad experiences. I hope you can block out all the noise. I hope you can create a sustainable business with your photography. That's my goal here, guys, is to help you guys succeed. That's it. All of you, don't forget to enter my weekly assignment challenge. It's a lot of fun. It's free. I do it every single week. I announce the theme every single Friday at 9 p.m. on Instagram and on YouTube. You have until Wednesday to submit. It's a free contest. You can submit one photo. All you have to do is just tag me on Instagram, or you can email. I'll put the details in the description box below, but it's a lot of fun. And I have a weekly prize, and at the end of the year, I have an amazing prize donated by my wonderful friends over at Wotan Craft Bags of a Wotan Craft Pilot Series travel camera bag. It's an awesome bag. Check out the affiliate link in the description box below. If you have any questions, don't forget to add those in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day.